All right. What's going on, everyone? And welcome to the Xbox Roundtable Podcast. This is episode number 145, your favorite place on Sunday nights to listen to gaming discussions and all things Xbox and so much more. Favorite place on Sunday nights to listen to gaming discussions and all things Xbox.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry, I had some feedback there on my end. But yeah, you know what, guys? I am your host, Invader, and honestly, there's been some noticeable topics that have been made, making the rounds this week, and honestly, maybe not as much as like the last few weeks, but still, there are some pretty juicy topics here. I'm really looking forward to getting right into these topics with all these wonderful people here. But first, let me introduce everybody on the panel tonight. First, let's start with Eric Shockley. Shock, buddy, what's new and exciting at your end?
Oh, hey, yeah, not much. I've been trying to get back into Ghost of Tsushima. Haven't played in a few weeks, so it's like trying to learn back some of the moves. But been spending some time on that Fall Guys. Almost won about like 30 minutes ago. So it was one basically where you had to jump and get the crown at the end. And I was winning. I was like in the lead, and I was just going up the final steps, and then I got hit by this little hammer. I was like, God damn it. I went through like 5 rounds to get to that. It was like so cool.
That's Fall Guy game. How many people can play at the same time with that?
60.
60? Oh my God.
Yeah,
I gotta
it
try
eliminates
that.
you. It's kind of like, it reminds me of like those old, like, it was on like Spike Channel with the, like, where they took those, the Japanese shows, like TXC or whatever it was. And
So,
like, it's crazy.
Oh, MXC. Yeah, I remember that.
MXC, yeah. So,
I guess from what we just heard, Invader, that game also can be played 4-player locally. Like you can have 4-player. It has like 4-player co-op, and then you can also do the whole 60 thing.
Right, yeah. It's a shame though that's not on Xbox, but I mean, it looks like a pretty cool game.
Don't
I think
worry.
it's just because it's a small
it's definitely
dev team.
coming.
Oh no, it's definitely coming. I just think they had to prioritize. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
they already had some struggles, like with some of the. A lot of people have been like bitching at them, like, fix your servers or whatever. At least I haven't experienced that, but I didn't get it on until like a few days after it had been out. So.
Right. Well, yeah, definitely a game that we should all check out. I know I've been curious. I didn't realize that this game was a thing until maybe 2 weeks ago, and then it just like I saw the gameplay pop up, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" And it looks so like innocent and like ridiculous at the same time, but like you can see that there's like a bit of a competitive, a lot of whole like competitive nature going on here. So I don't know, I'll check it out eventually. Moving on here, Megatron, buddy. Hey, how's things at your end? Got any gaming in the past week?
Yeah, you know what? I played a little bit of Transformers Devastation. I revisited that because of recent things in the news. But I'm sure we'll touch on that later. That's pretty good. One of my, I'm a G1 fan when it comes to Transformers. So, but that's all I did. Kind of just again, like last weekend, same as this weekend. I had a great time just relaxing with the fam and just chilling, man, eating some great food. So, but yeah, I'm ready to get this show going.
Naturally, of course. Centurion Pal, how's things at your end?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's Sunday night, and I am ready to talk about some Xbox and have some fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I'm glad we could feel the energy on that. I'm over here by myself.
I was about to say short and sweet. I like how that goes.
All right, you know what? Nobody felt the energy. Hold on. Let me take all the glow sticks and other stuff off, and I'll just sit here and be like, all right, let's do this.
No, I felt it, man. I felt it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, man. So Tim Dog, there's a few of us that are just running a little late. I know Tim Dog's on the way, so you should be expecting them in a little bit. But first, let's get this out of the way. A shout out to the Weapon Wheel podcast. Centurion and I were just on their show. We had to cut it short, obviously, just because of the show timings. But we had it was a pretty decent chat going on there at times, and we just want to thank the guys for having us on. And yeah, definitely an interesting talk, and if you guys want to come on the show sometime, that'd be fantastic. Also, got to get this out of the way as well before we get into the topics. We have an announcement to make, and we are giving away yet another Cyberpunk 2077 limited edition wireless controller. Man, you know, I gotta say, it's one sharp looking controller. But anyways, head on over to our Twitter and look at the pinned tweet on how to enter. Our giveaway is for this lovely controller ends on Monday, August 24th. So, hey, you know what? I suggest entering ASAP, and I'll just start posting that out soon, fellas. We will move on to our first topic, though.
Quick, though, I'm sorry. This is one of the last custom controllers that Microsoft's going to make for this gen, by the way. Just to add that little 2 cents in. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think they're making it anymore. So, and you're going to carry it on to the to Xbox Series X if you choose to upgrade. So, but yeah, I think it's a definite must-have. So,
no, definitely, it's a nice looking controller. I think it's pretty sharp. I don't know, it has some nice little details in there. Like, I think I prefer the console's design personally, but it's still a nice looking controller in my opinion. But you know what, guys? We will move on to our first topic of the evening. And for the past couple of weeks, guys, we've been hearing significant rumors about Microsoft doing away with Xbox Live Gold. There were even recent changes to the terms of service. However, Microsoft came out with a statement to Windows Central saying that it was just a language update to underlying services, and that there were no changes being made to the experience of the service or Xbox Live Gold. So it's interesting that they came out with this, and they said it like this, with this statement. Now, I'm just going to put it out there to the panel, whoever wants to go over to this first. Do you guys think that this is a legit statement by Microsoft, or is there something more going on here?
It's a legit statement for now till they announce something officially, because I know there's something that's got to be going on, because I've had friends reach out to me who don't have, I guess, Xbox Live, but they're able to join and invite me to their chats.
Free play weekend right now.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, then there you go. Then there's my theories, just down the toilet. But I thought something was going on. But earlier the week, well, not this week though. You know what? Well, hold on. It was free play the whole week, because it was. I think it was like a Monday or Tuesday when I got the invite from someone.
Oh, I don't know.
See, it was supposed to be for the weekend, and I've been hearing the same story that there's people out there that don't have a subscription of any kind on their Xbox, and they're able to use the party chat and other services that you're supposed to actually have the subscription for.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I saw, I read the article when it came out, and then I come home and there's this advertisement on my Xbox for this free to play weekend for like Xbox Live Gold services and this, that, and the other. To me, it just seems like they're kind of like dancing around the idea, and they haven't officially kind of wanted to do anything yet. But I do see it going that way, especially with them making statements that somehow Halo Infinite, the multiplayer, is supposed to be free to play. To kind of call something free to play, I would associate that there's not going to be a paywall of any kind that would prohibit you from being able to have that experience because it's free to play.
I hear you.
Yeah. I see it's as legit as Aaron Greenberg saying that the Fable account was just nothing to see here. So he said that
exactly.
So, and it says at this time. They didn't need to put those words in there, but legally they probably did, because it's probably going away or something's changing with it.
At least maybe
why would you legally go in there and take away the name of Gold? Like they did take it away. I don't know why they were saying they didn't. They literally changed it to online service. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot. Yeah. No, it's true. And
they didn't bring back the 12-month. Like, something's changing. They're not going to limit you of ways to give them money unless something is literally changing.
I've started cooking it up in my head that I kind of see them wanting to bundle the online services with basic Game Pass and using XCloud as that frosting on the cake to get you to buy into Game Pass Ultimate.
If they do that, they're about to get dragged worse than 2013 if they do that.
It's possible, yeah. Like Shock has a point there. I mean, it just
That means you're going to force people to do it, and if they don't want Game Pass, then they're having to spend at least $100 versus $60 to play online.
Well,
that's PlayStation.
That's where I want to know. If they probably do have a free option, it's going to have some limitations to what it can do because it's free.
Definitely. Tim just jumped in. Hey, Tim, how you been?
Hey, how you guys doing?
What up? What up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
loud
buddy.
and clear.
It's loud and clear. Sound up close to the mic. Just setting up.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, Xbox Lizard in the house. Everybody in the chat. Hey, chat. How do you feel about this? Do you think that Microsoft's kind of just, trying to protect themselves here, and we will see them address the gold paywall at some point soon? Tim, how do you feel about this? Because again, Microsoft came out and they said that there'd be no changes supposedly to Xbox Live.
Yeah, at this time. Listen, I got a lot of stuff on Twitter, people making fun of me because I said Xbox Live Gold was nice knowing you, even though like a lot of people were reporting that Xbox Live was going away or Xbox Live Gold. Listen, here's the deal. I don't see them putting this into Game Pass where they're going to inevitably take away games for gold and say, hey, now you have to pay $10 a month and there's no way around it. So you're doubling the price. I don't see them doing that. I don't know what they're going to do. They're doing something. So I think we're all in agreement something's coming. My opinion is that if you're going to keep Xbox Live Gold, you have to then you have to make it $5 a month for online multiplayer wall and, keep it at the same price, because I think that's only fair, especially with how bad gold has been. Or do what they're doing where they're just going to give it away and they're going to migrate everyone to Game Pass and they're going to tear down the wall. And I think that there's a good chance that might happen. I think it makes sense. But people will say, well, why are you going to give up that revenue? I think right now they're just trying to feel out that revenue, whereas how many people are on Xbox Live Gold, how many they can actually migrate over to Game Pass, and to kind of figure that whole thing out. There's also going to be Xbox Access, Live Access, that we talked about, All Access. I think that's also going to play into this. As time goes on, I think it's going to make sense. But if I'm going to say I'm a betting man, I'm going to say that they're going to either make it free or they're going to make it really cheap to play cross play and to play with the multiplayer wall. Because for them to do the thing where they migrate you, if let's just say you were Xbox Live Gold and you're paying $60 for the last 4 years, and that's what you were renewed, that's not fair to you to be put into a subscription that's completely different and that costs double. So I don't see that happening. And if they do that, shame on them, and they're really clueless. But I think where it's all pointing to, I think we can all agree. I think it might go away, or either that, or it's going to be $5 a month,
Which is it where it is now, right? Was it? I mean, it's
$10. Well, yeah, it's $5 a month. Mm-hmm. But like, if they just go to this thing where they're see what they want is they want to tie you into where you're paying monthly, okay? They can make the most money where you pay in monthly for Game Pass and you pay in monthly for Ultimate. So as you know, like Netflix does, like you pay you know you don't buy a year of Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean you can I think promotionally get it, but I don't think that there's ways to buy Game Pass. So I think what they ultimately want is they want you on a reoccurring charge, and they want to provide you with a great amount of content to keep you happy, similar to what Netflix is doing. That's why they're taking away the year option and the 2-year option, is because, quite frankly, they don't make the money that you'd think that they would make. Part of this is business. They're not going to give away. They're not going to shoot themselves in the foot. But I do think that they have an opportunity here. For the most part, you have a lot of free-to-play games. Let's be honest. You have you have PUBG. You have Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
You have now Halo. You have like a very few amount of games that really have a multiplayer wall. And other than that, your Xbox Live Gold offering has been putrid for about a year. It's like they gave up. So for me, like I said, if they can migrate these people over, they get everyone onto the Game Pass, and let's say they somehow move everyone over, and then they have like this Xbox Live tier with they'll have it's going to have to be something where it's a lot cheaper than what they're proposing, which is $120 a year, versus not having it, or just let it go. And I think that they would get most people to move over. And quite frankly, if they do that move and they market it, that's going to be a huge thing for Xbox. We're talking, there's a lot of rumors about exclusivity going around and all this type of stuff. If Xbox really wants to be competitive and they want to make a statement, have your free to play and have your multiplayer wall down and say that, hey, we're for the gamer. We're consistent from PC Xbox Live down to console Xbox. And you want games, you want the best games, you want the games for an affordable price. We have Game Pass and XCloud, and you can't go wrong. I do think, and just one more thing, I do think they might have something where they integrate maybe Xbox Live with XCloud, and that might be the new revision of Xbox Live Gold. But something's going to happen, and like I said, I just can't see it being somewhere where they're blocking you into a paywall where you have to pay double.
Just curious to see how long we have to wait to get some announcement on pricing for this service and for the console. Hopefully at the end of I guess next week or so, we'll get an announcement of when they're going to do this August show. There's nothing that was officially announced yet, right? If I'm not mistaken. So
not yet, but then stuff
soon
seems to be
enough.
leaking. Like, I mean, look, just over the past hour, we got that whole controller thing leaking, right? So
yeah. I don't know. I feel like a monthly prescription price is just more. I guess it just seems more. It's easier on the wallet when you see that. Well, you're only paying this a month, as opposed to just putting that big number out there for some people. So I don't know. I just think.
See, and that's.
Go ahead.
I wasn't trying to interrupt, but I'm trying to channel Downer's energy. I'm actually playing devil's advocate here. When the one thing that concerns me is right now, Game Pass is seeing some serious growth because of the pandemic. And if you buy base Game Pass, you don't actually have access to the online side of things. It actually makes it to where you either want to go Game Pass Ultimate or have Xbox Live Gold in some way. I think by them actually putting Xbox Live into Game Pass, you're actually adding value to the customers that have already bought into Game Pass, which is where I could see them. That's where, if you looked at the other side of the argument, Microsoft, I'm concerned, can be saying that they're adding value to the base product of Game Pass by giving them online access, and that's going to be the main way for you to have Xbox Live. And I do see probably some free version, but it's going to be very limited and have like see they're advertising right now free party chat. Are they showing everybody what it's like to have party chat, and then all of a sudden do this? You got to have the live subscription that they come up with. I hope I'm completely wrong. I really do. But I can see the argument also being that they're technically adding value to Game Pass by giving them online access.
Right.
Yeah, but then they make a bigger divide between PC and console than what's already there. With people
Now they've actually because of Game Pass Ultimate, they've actually somehow shoehorned PC players to actually start paying in. That's one thing.
Because it's only in beta, so it's still only $5 right now.
But that's where I'm not going to put it past Microsoft to not try to figure out some way to that for them they love subscription services. That's one thing that's made Game Pass a success, and why all of a sudden they've kind of changed their opinion towards the brand was because the growth that Game Pass has seen. So definitely I could see them wanting to try to figure out a way to kind of make all these subscription services work together.
That's huge, though, that they got PC. I'm not a PC guy, but I just didn't stop to think that, they really have PC guys subscribing now to. I guess it's the Ultimate, right?
Yeah, and it's only
or Game Pass. They can do.
Yeah, I don't think any PC players are paying for Ultimate that didn't already have like some crazy deal.
Right? Isn't it though? PC Game Pass alone is $10.
It's normally 10. It's still in beta, so they are only charging 5 still.
Oh, okay.
But it tells you it will be $9.99 at some point once it leaves beta.
Yeah.
See, I hope I'm completely wrong, but definitely, it sucks. Like I'll say it right now, I have not been really enjoying the offerings too much in the free games with gold. And what more could you ask for if you're a company and you could look at it from a different perspective of, well, if you're looking for free games or games that you can get access to, obviously Game Pass gives you more than games with gold, and we're adding value to Game Pass by giving them online access.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, they've been trying to get PC guys to pay in, and they found a way, right? With Game Pass for PC, maybe Ultimate to some degree, but I mean, that's encompassing more of the entire ecosystem with Xbox. But at some point, they have to do something for the Xbox guys because, again, like if they're going to go with XCloud, right, and they have access, like all these different mobile platforms and PC to Xbox Live technically without paying for it, I mean, that kind of leaves Xbox guys hanging, so they have to address this now. Especially with XCloud going into Game Pass officially with on September 15th, I think it is. So, yeah, I mean, we might be seeing an announcement pretty soon about that.
I really hope it goes free. I think
Me too.
I think honestly, a company like Microsoft, with the money that they create and the way that they can make it up in different divisions of their company, honestly, I just feel like it should be free to play, at least for multiplayer. They're going to try to, if that's the case, they need to figure out some feature or something that would make people feel like that they're getting a premium experience if they're paying for it.
What I think they should do is keep renewals up and disclaimer it, and basically when Xbox launches, say it's free. And anybody that's new that wants to join on the network can. And if they want Game Pass, they can. They should get rid of it. Because I said this a year ago, and I actually talked to Ybarra about it. We went back and forth, and like always, they've always taken our feedback. But Xbox Live Gold becomes redundant when you really think about it. Like the games you're getting are not up to par; they're not good, and with Game Pass and all this, you have so many things going on. You have XCloud, Game Pass, PC Game Pass, Ultimate. Xbox Live really can go away, and just be what it is, just be an online service, like kind of like Silver was, if you guys remember back in the day.
Yeah.
And then just have that multiplayer wall. Just, I mean, you're only really affecting, I would say, 7 games, 10 games a year. Like, let's think of all the games. Mortal Kombat, I was thinking about it the other day. Mortal Kombat, Madden's, the sports games, fighting games. But a lot of games are now going free to play, and that's the new thing. And the biggest multiplayer games are free to play. So, it's not like everything's changing, and to be unified with your PC and to really be what you're talking about, you say we want to give access gamers, we want gamers to play and be free of these walls, and you talk in this big game. That's the way to really back your talk up. I mean, if you're gonna do that, be aggressive, like I said, and I'm not saying that you're gonna just say, "Hey, you're Xbox Live Gold," let's just take a person like that's a parent and has Xbox Live Gold, doesn't have Game Pass, and the renewal comes up. They have to give that person the chance to either renew with Game Pass or to forfeit, I would assume. I don't think you can auto-renew them without Xbox Live Gold.
Sometimes you're like grandfathered already in, right?
Right. You would have to give, you'd have to give some type of disclaimer or something. You can't just migrate somebody and say, "Hey, we're changing our services behind," and you have no idea. But now you get all access to these games, and you have no idea because Xbox Live Gold is going away. Listen, on RDX, we asked Major Nelson, and his answer to us was, "We've been listening to what you guys say. We take your guys' feedback." And let's be honest, one of the feedback we get a lot is, "Hey, why is it free on PC and why is it not free on Xbox?" And that right now is a valid question. Really, why is that the case? We're supposed to be this one unified gamer. It's about us. It's
it's exactly what Phil said about why you don't see Game Pass on PlayStation and Switch is because you're not going to get the same experience. Well, consoles having to pay and mobile, and they don't even need to buy an Xbox, they can just have a Samsung phone, and PC players can play the same games, then you're not all getting the same experience. One of you is paying $60 a month.
It's like a tug of war. It's like a tug of war, and it's their ecosystem. PC is the ecosystem of Xbox, and they're just going back and forth with really what they're trying to do. I feel like, trying to appease people that play on PC and what they've known to do for, since the beginning, into what we do as consoles is paying, because we're on a console. I think they just, hopefully we'll figure it out, man. And maybe we'll hear something soon. So I just, either way, I've never had a problem with paying for the service because I've just been satisfied since day one. And I think I just come from a different mindset, but, I don't know, man. I hope they figure it out really soon.
Has there been that official announcement from Microsoft that Halo Infinite was going to be free to play, or is it just still like through the leaks that it's going to be free to play?
Well, no,
it's official.
No, they officially announced it. Because what happens is that the toy came out, and there was a publication or whatever. It had the information. So the leak came out, and then Xbox, instead of denying it, they just said, "We'd like to, yes, it's true, and it's going to be 120 frames per second multiplayer."
Okay.
And
I read that. See, I read that article, and that's where. But they haven't had this big advertisement that they've put on screen at some digital event explaining it.
No,
they just haven't announced yet if it's really free to play.
And that's where I think that would be a good time to actually announce something about Xbox Live Gold or online play being free in some way, because how else could you hype a free to play game? Than try to be like, well, it's also going to kind of open the gateway for a lot of fans.
Well, that's the thing, and it's part of it. I feel that it's only part of the story, right? Because again, they had to come out about it because again, it was leaked. So they're like, okay, we'll roll with this. The official Halo accounts and 343 started talking about it, and Microsoft. So it's like, okay, it gets the ball rolling on the whole free to play message, but again, with Phil talking about an August event, I'm assuming it'll be at the end of the month. There's a lot of things lining up here that, we could see them again talk about possibly gold. They could drop the whole gold bomb at the end of the month because that would set it up perfectly. Because again, we just saw the last hour or two, there's been images of the Xbox Series S controller leaking possibly. And
that's real. That's real, I heard.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, just so you know, if you look at it, actually, I don't know. Somebody DM'd me, so I don't know how recent it was. But somebody DM'd me, said, "What do you think of this?" And then I obviously put it up. But it already has 1,000 retweets. And Brad Sams hit me on the DM, and he's like, "How legit is that?" And then he hit me back and says, "Oh, it is legit." And then if you look at it, it says Xbox Series X/S. So there is confirmation right there that
yeah, I'll see if I can get it on the screen.
Yeah, get it on the screen. And where's Jeremy? What's his deal?
Well, you know him. He's just having a smoke by himself on his patio there in Montana, enjoying the clean air, apparently. But yeah, guys, I mean, it's interesting though. Like again, I mean, we're expecting.
Shocky's falling down the stairs. It sounds like
somebody fell down the stairs.
Poor Shock. Somebody resuscitate him. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things lining up here. Like I'll see if I can get it on the screen. Share screen. Chrome tab. Where is it? Here.
Listen, if Lockhart, there it is. If Lockhart is white, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like, give me incentive. But to be honest, listen, if you have a 4K TV, there really is. I wouldn't say there's really a reason to get it. You just spend the extra money and get the X.
Well, for my kids, I'm going to do it. I think because
you have a 1080p, right? A big 1080p.
No, I have. We have 4K. But
just doesn't matter to them. Yeah.
Nah, it's just there'll be some. I think there's going to be 4K games on the Lockhart, right? I mean, and then
it's pretty much for frame rate, but it doesn't matter, like you said.
There'll be some upscaling. There'll be some upscaling, right? They'll maybe.
Yeah, for kids, it's fine. Mm-hmm. To be honest, I mean, I played freaking 480 and I was loving it.
So, guys, we'll move on. It's just interesting here because on the box, I don't know if you can see here, it says Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Windows 10, Android, and iOS, which is kind of interesting considering the news coming out of the Apple camp right now.
Yeah,
well, iOS,
play other games on iOS.
You could play their garbage Apple Arcade on their horror show.
Yeah, we'll touch on that mess in a minute, but man, oh man, I can't believe the stuff coming out of that. But we'll move on to another topic since we're talking about Xbox Live, but we have to mention a few days ago Samsung unveiled their new Galaxy Note 20 handset, which I think it looks like yeah. Hey, I think it looks pretty cool on its own. I kind of like the what's it called, the Mystic Green one personally, but I'm a green guy, so that's just me. I know it's not everybody else's flavor, but lo and behold, we got some Xbox news as well, and Microsoft and Samsung have unveiled a special version of the Xbox Game Pass app in the Samsung Galaxy Store. Now, this special version allows players to redeem tokens and make in-app purchases in that Xbox store. Now, Tim, I'll head to you on this one. I know you're pretty pumped. Now, we've obviously covered this partnership between the two companies before on separate shows, and now we're actually starting to see some of the fruits and the benefits of it. What do you think of this announcement?
Well, I think that Xbox and Samsung have a very good they have a good relationship, and it makes a lot of sense. I do think you'll also see TVs coming down and PCs and stuff like that. I think XCloud is this is the beginning. With that, I want to tell you my personal experience is that I have a Note 9 that I can't use it on the mobile network because it's not mine, but I can test it on Wi-Fi, and using it on that, just the little that I tried it out, I would say that it works well. But the thing is now I'm losing Apple phone because of their policies. Like, I've always been a big Apple guy, but because of their policy on xCloud, I am at my end of my I'm up for an upgrade. I was going to get the new iPhone 5G and be all about it, and I was excited for it. But when the news came down that they're not going to budge on that, I said, you know what? I'm going to go with the Note Ultra. I bought the Note Ultra. I can tell you that the specs of it are really impressive. Go take a look at it. It's a really good display, 6.9 inches. The phone is big. There's also there's a smaller model too, the Ultra, the S Ultra Note, or the Note 20, not the Ultra. But I'm ready to game on my phone. That's basically where I'm at. And the big game changer for me is there's 5G coverage now. And I know we haven't really talked about it that much. We've talked about it a little, but that's really the biggest deal. Is that playing on 4G LTE? I mean, it's just you're gonna be teetering. It's not gonna be a great experience. But playing on 5G, it's a different experience, and it's matched for cloud gaming. So. When I get my phone August 21st, I will be giving a review of it, and I'll be telling everyone about it. But I can honestly say that I'm very excited. There is going to be I'm going to bring a controller with me, in my car, and it'll be powered up. And whether if I'm at my my nephew's or my mom's house where I'm sitting on her. In their kitchen, and I want to do something, or if it's my lunch break and it's a boring day and I have a downtime of an hour, I'm going to try this and play it because I'm intrigued by the tech, but it's going to work well. And Samsung is really got a good way with Microsoft right now, and I think that it's unfortunate that Apple put this policy ahead of everything. And didn't make concessions like they have on these streaming apps, because you're losing a lot of customers. I really have to say a lot of outpouring of Xbox fans that really are on the same boat. We use our phones for a lot of things, but let's be honest, if we have a chance to play Xbox and try it and play it like, give us an availability, especially with some of the peripherals that you can buy, the third-party ones that look really cool. You're in there. So very excited about this. Obviously, xCloud, Tim Dog, Megatron was there when we played it at E3.
Yes, sir.
I've also played it. I'm very excited. This is going to be a big deal for Xbox. I mean, a lot of people are gloom and dooming Xbox right now, saying, oh, there's a lot of exclusive deals coming down, time console, content, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, man, in a year from now, it's like I posted on Twitter. I know I'm a little bit long-winded right now, but I'm going to just quickly sum it up. In 2013, I used to use my laptop for Twitter, and I was fast on it, and I wasn't as fast as my phone. Now in 2020, I'm very slow on the laptop. I'm very fast on the phone. Not saying that this is going to change the way I game, because I still love my OLED. I'm still going to love my Series X. But you know what? In a year from now, Megatron is probably going to call me and saying, "Yeah, I played XCloud today up at on my lunch, or was up on vacation. I tried it out." It's going to be second nature to us because we're going to have it, and we're going to acclimate ourselves to it because we can, and it's there, and it's also going to be quality. This is not going to be bullshit.
No, we got 5G coming. 5G's coming.
5G is the big deal. That's the thing. In closing my long-winded statement on this, 5G, brothers and sisters, it is really a game changer for this type of stuff. It's in its wheelhouse. Xbox is in its wheelhouse with this, and it's going to be something else. I mean, the Wii doesn't have 5G. The Switch. So you're going to be able to do things like play Modern Warfare online, and it's going to be surprisingly good. And believe me, they're doing it in other countries at a much faster rate, but we'll come around. And I think Xbox has always been a little bit ahead of the curve, but now technology's catching up, and I think Xbox players in this regard are in for a real treat if you really want to go about this and try it out. 'Cause it's going to work well, and it's also going to get better. That's what I've also heard. There is the Xbox Series X is going into the cloud, and you will be able to play games at high frame rates, higher fidelity, basically, better than Stadia. So get ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you guys see the what was it, a pre-order bundle that that Samsung has for the Galaxy Note? It has like 3 months of Game Pass and a controller, which actually looked pretty cool. I mean, it was like kind of, I won't say clipped on, but like it was still pretty cool. What they have there, they're really incentivizing bloody Game Pass. I tell you, this partnership, it's gonna do wonders for the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Tim. I've had an iPhone since like Gen 1, and I have an Apple Watch, iPad, but yeah, I'm jumping over to the Note 20 Ultra. It looks premium. It's all Gorilla Glass back. Actually, the strongest glass they've ever put on a phone. Period. And I opt for that Razer Kishi that makes it like basically like a Switch. And the reviews on it
you got
are pretty
the
good.
setup I want to get into.
So
they're
it's
sold out
yeah,
now, right?
I can take a break.
Yeah, sold out.
Laying on the couch. No, not sold out. You can actually go pre-order on Amazon. It's still up there.
You can?
I checked it.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm doing it right now because I couldn't get it before.
you can get the Android one, or you can get the Xbox version. I guess you have to pay $30 more to get the Xbox branded one. But
get the Xbox
yeah,
branded one.
I'm definitely
The Xbox branded phone.
No, it has the color of the buttons are the right color to match because on the Android one, A is like red, and on the Xbox one, it's like A is green, but it does have the Xbox button where the.
I'm excited right now, man. Where is this? I'm looking right now on Amazon.
Yeah, if you just put in Razer Kishi, it'll pull right up, and you'll see the Xbox One, and you can pre-order it right now.
It's saying to shave. I could shave with the Xbox XCloud. You could shave with it.
But I find it weird that a lot of people, mostly Sony fans, are like really pocket watching right now with like, oh my God, you guys are going to spend $1,300 to play to game stream? Like, no, there's this thing that a lot of people do in America every year. They upgrade to a new phone. So when I upgrade to a new phone this year, I'm going to go with the best one, the one that allows me to game stream, the one that's also 120 frames per second. Who knows if Apple's going to do that because they adopt shit really slow. So it's a better display, better camera, and I get the game stream. Okay.
Shock, what I will say this, and I'm going to be completely honest. If Apple comes to their senses and they do the right thing and they say, hey, we're going to open it up, I will in a year or even maybe less. I will either get a new phone, or I probably will go back to Apple. I would return this. I mean, unless I really like this. Now, let me ask you a question:
headphones look better than the AirPods. So
the Razer Kashi controller, it's the one that's $100.
Yeah, it's $100 for the Xbox branded one, or it's $79 if you don't care about that.
And this will work with the Ultra, right? Because I heard the one with the Ultra is that it's like it barely works, but it does.
It fits, but it's like that. Yeah, that one guy reviewed it. He's like, it's a tight fit, but it's there. You can you totally do it. It's not. He said it's not gonna. It doesn't feel like it's gonna like bend or break or something.
Because when you pre-order that phone too, it actually comes with a controller, doesn't it? If I'm not mistaken, it comes with the controller.
Yeah,
you can buy the bundle.
No, if you the bundle, supposedly I'm getting the bundle. Supposedly I'm getting the 3 months of Xbox Live Gold of Game Pass Ultimate, and I'm supposed to get that microcontroller. That's supposedly part of the deal, but I guess I will find out about that.
So none of you have ever had a Note before.
I got a Note 8 right now.
I have a Note 9 for work, so I'm similar. I'm familiar with it.
I was going to say I have a Note 9, and that thing has totally. I don't think I could ever go back to anything else other than a Note, just because of what it's capable of.
All the stuff that I'm seeing has it's a bigger screen than Apple, higher pixel density while it's being bigger. And then what was I going to say after? Shoot, I just lost my train. Oh yeah, and you can multitask with Android. All the time whenever I'd get my Apple phone, and you can't do it now because I don't think there's any jailbreaks in the past few years, but I would always jailbreak my Apple phone to basically give it those Android features that they kind of block you off of. So I've always kind of wanted to get some of that, but still I was gravitating towards the Apple, because like once you got your hooks in there, that kind of got you. But all the stuff you can multitask with the Note, and people were saying like, oh, you can't game on it, it's too small. I'm like, the Switch Lite is 5.5 inches. This thing's almost 7 inches. So it's like you'll be fine if you played a Vita or DS. You'll be okay.
Well, looking at some comparisons, I mean, it looks very similar to like how you would hold a Nintendo Switch. So, like to me, I'm not seeing the big deal here.
And it cuts down the lag. So I would recommend you, if you're going to even spend any time in game streaming, to get this, because if you're using an Xbox controller and using Bluetooth, you're going to experience, that's just going to add to the lag. So it's whatever you can do to cut that out, that's what you want to do with this. And it has a charging in the bottom. So you just USB-C charge, so you can charge the phone while you're playing, just like you would a Switch. So
I'm excited about this.
So what's it using then? Does it actually plug into the phone itself?
Yeah, it plugs in the back of the USB. It plugs into the USB-C port at the bottom of the phone on the right side. Yep.
Gotcha.
I'm ordering right now as we speak. Place order. Yeah. Let's see what my order's been placed. Yeah.
I just pre-ordered mine too.
Usually they tell you like, oh, your address is wrong, or this went right through. So very excited. I'm going to definitely put that on. I heard that Jez, I believe, used it. And, listen, I've been a big Apple fan, and I'll go on and say that, I'm familiar with both the operating systems. I use it with work. I have a Samsung tablet with, their operating system. I'm not a fan of their operating system as much as I am with iOS. I think iOS is more user-friendly. I think it's more intuitive.
What I'm seeing with the Ultra, it's like they've come a long way with Android since the one time I had it back like almost 10 years ago. Like it's pretty much there with like Apple.
Listen, the specs on Ultra are ridiculous. 12 gigabits of RAM. They have the new Snapdragon 865.
You know how much the 11 Pro has? 4 gigs. And that's why your apps close. Every time you can only go maybe through a couple apps, and you go back to your Twitter app, it closed. That doesn't happen on Android because you got 12 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, that is insane. Also, there is something that I looked into, and I actually saw this before. It's called DIXX, and what it basically does is, when we mirror our phones, what would you say would be really cool if you could go up to the remote end and actually use that end and use it. So theoretically, what this DSXX does is basically turns your Note and it makes it a portable laptop or a portable desktop. And the thing with the Ultra, one of the big things with the Ultra is that you can do it wirelessly. So here I am. I'm going to throw my Note Ultron 20 on the table. I'm going to hook up DIXX with a comparable TV. I'm hoping my TV supports it. And let's just say it does. I can now basically use a mouse or a keyboard, or a mouse and a keyboard, and basically move around the television, not my phone, but the television, and go through the apps that way. So
Wow.
what does that tell you? You could actually play XCloud on your TV via the Ultra. Now, obviously, if you have a Series X in front of you, you're not going to do that. But let's just say you're at a friend's house and they don't have it, and you have a controller or whatever, and you're ready to do that. So there's a lot of things here that are, from a tech aspect, really are intriguing to me. And I'm looking at the specs of this, and the Ultra is just absolutely,
It's a beast, man. Yeah.
it's 512. I got the 512 gigabits. Has a good processor. The camera, you can auto zoom up to 50 times. So you know how usually you can do it 2 or 3 times with certain phones, up to 50 times. Very fast. I'm sure there's a little down. I'm sure there's downsizes. There's downside and stuff like that.
It's going to be a major L too for iPhones if they don't upgrade to 120 this year. I've seen the comparison, and it's just so much more fluid.
Well, that's what they said. The person that was reviewing it that I watched, because I watched several reviews too, they said that they didn't care about the resolution because you can use it dynamically. You have to use it at like 720 or something.
Or 1080, you can do the full HD 1080 at one.
Okay, so and then it's a consistent 120. They said that they went with that mode because it was so much more responsive than they rather have it that way than versus the fidelity of the full 1440p. So listen, that's impressive too. 120 frames per second, dynamic work. It's dynamic too if you use the 4K. I believe. If you use the 1440p, if you wanna lock it, you have to use the 1080p mode. But if you're using it 1440p, basically there are apps that only use that are 30 frames per second. There are apps that are 60 frames per second. So dynamically, it'll adjust the resolution to the app and/or what it's using dynamically, so you will be able to run your phone fast and quick. And a lot of the reviews, everyone's given this Note Ultra and the Note very high reviews. Even the the S20, just the Galaxy phone, is very good too. It has a very good camera, very good battery life. Yeah, I'm really excited. I cannot wait, and I cannot wait for the official release. September 15th.
I'm so jealous because I didn't get in on the Android test flight. I only got the iOS invite for some reason. So I have to wait until it goes to the public. So no.
Yeah. At this point, I could say I possibly could get you in.
I'll have the controller and everything, just not the invite.
Why you? So you? Well, talk to me on the side. I can maybe make a request for you. I don't know if they're still adding, but I could possibly get you in on that. I got in on. I was in on the flight,
but never got one. So.
Okay. No,
so are we all pre-ordering this phone, or they're still giving me 200? Best Buy is still giving me 250 for my Note 8. This phone is 4 years old. It's like 4 E3s ago. So it's just like.
I don't know, man. It's tempting. Again, I'm an Apple guy. I have a 7 Plus. I like it personally. I wasn't planning on budging or moving on anytime soon, but with something like this, like the Note 20, just it really does impress me, and it's a nice piece of kit, a nice piece of technology. So I don't know, man. I might have to pull the trigger in a couple.
I'm gonna get one, but I'm gonna wait till November.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the smartest thing to do is, I'm always the type of guy that gets it the first day and then I'll suffer through the problems with it. But the best thing to always do is wait 2 months, 3 months, get the bugs out, and the things that the ugly parts or the parts they don't want you to know. I mean, listen, I'm going to miss iOS in a certain amount. I mean, I love the fluidity of just looking at my phone and having the phone just open up via the my face recognition. I'm sure that Samsung has similar something, but I'm sure it's not as good.
You can't use facial recognition anyway. We're all wearing masks.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
But it's interesting, guys, too, because with Apple, being kind of asses at the moment. It's not just affecting Microsoft with this either. With XCloud, it's also affecting Google Stadia and even Facebook. Facebook Gaming has chimed in too, right? Because there's a whole it affects all of the cloud aspects of gaming here. And if Apple's being stingy with Xbox, if they're just not allowing different competitors on the platform, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Oh,
listen, I think that in the end of the day, Apple's going to. I can tell you this much: that there was definitely a big. I was surprised how much support Xbox got the day this came out. But I think Apple will come around. I think it's stupid for them to lose customers like myself and Chalky and possibly you. We're really good customers. And it's just silly for them to lose us based on something like that. All we want to do is game. We're going to still love your phone. We just want to game off of it. You know what I mean? That's and if you're denying something because you think that is gonna inherently make me not want to buy your shit arcade, and it is shit. I'm sorry, it is what it is. Just give me that option. Treat me like an adult. Treat everyone like adults, and you do the right thing. And I'm sure we would all come back. But the longer the time goes, the more that they risk.
First thing I thought of was just that it was competition for them and whatever they were planning on doing, as far as their own online service. And I just. What little I know, it's limited, but I'm just thinking, hey, well, if Microsoft's competing in this space, and they are too, they're going to probably want to do something to maybe make it tough for them. So, but
well, I remember when this first got announced, the first thing that I asked Kibarra and I asked Phil, I said, "You're going to get Apple? Are you going to get Apple?" And their answer to me was basically, we're in this to try to get as many screens as possible, whether it doesn't matter rhyme or reason what the screen might be. But, obviously iOS is a huge player, and we wouldn't do this if we didn't think that we can get them. Fast forward now 2 years or whatever it has been, and I think that they're pissed, but I do think that there'll come a time where they partnership, or there'll come a time where they strike a deal, just because of how big Microsoft will come and how big it's getting and just how big they are and how many fans. If Apple sees them, they're losing people, or they lost a certain amount, they always look twice at that.
I'm kind of curious on what Apple's going to do, because I feel like they have actually wrote the rules of the Apple Store to kind of hinder products like this from ever being able to be used on the Apple Store. That's where it kind of goes beyond money. It is very anti-competitive if you look at it. I told Invader I didn't want to keep hyping my video and do that, but I did do a video on it. I released it this morning. And I actually went into Apple's rule book. This is the listed rules that they have published online for developers to use to create apps to be put on the Apple Store. And there's 3 rules that I found that actually make it to where a product like XCloud or Game Pass could never work or exist in that first place. Rule 1 is they have a rule that makes it to where games have to be published by the company who made them. They cannot use a third-party publishing platform to put it on there for them. So Xbox would be only allowed to publish first-party games for starters. And then any games that they did want to publish into the xCloud system would also have to be put into some kind of review process where the game would have to be reviewed in its entirety to make sure it meets Apple's standards. Not really sure what those are. And not to mention, but the game cannot, now this is where the rules start really getting crafty. The game cannot be on the Azure server. It has to be on Apple's systems. The game has to be downloaded directly from the Apple Store.
That's why remote play works.
Now that now we're going to get into the remote part of this, because the remote part is where it gets really jacked up, and I feel like they did this because they were getting a lot of heat from Valve and other products like that, like Epic Games, that were wanting to create stuff like that. And so in the recent interview that they had to do with U.S. Congress over this antitrust stuff, they specifically said that Microsoft was denied allowed to be on the Apple Store because they violated the remote user agreement. And under the remote user agreement, which is buried under a lot of text, it states that for you to be able to access any application or software remotely, you can only do this from a customer-owned device. You are not allowed to remotely access something like the Azure cloud system or cloud-based anything. So you basically, because the games aren't located on your actual local device at home, you're violating the user agreement. So therefore, the product can't be on there. Yeah, I kind of put it in my video, where every section of text that would actually kind of hinder a game from a service like Game Pass or xCloud from even existing on the Apple Store. And it makes it even worse when they find out that there's a 30% tax that's put on companies that put their stuff on the Apple Store. And that's where the 30% tax starts becoming illegal, because what it is, Spotify was one of the first companies to actually come out and speak out against this 30% tax. And Spotify showed that Apple, by imposing these 30% taxes, is artificially inflating the cost of its competition, because for them to compete on that marketplace, they would have to raise their prices because of the 30% that they're being charged. And it gets deeper than that. There's also links to where Steve Jobs, when he was alive, there's emails that are being published now on the internet that I found on The Verge that show that Steve Jobs and other executives at Apple at the time were deliberately using the Apple Store and other resources that they had at their disposal to actually hold down the competition to force the consumer to use their products. So the article actually is read. This is why you cannot still buy a digital book for a Kindle on the Apple Store. And it goes into detail on how they deliberately wrote their rules to actually hinder something like that from happening.
Interesting. Sounds like some heavy stuff that I care less about.
I guess Epic Games has been one of the guys that have been speaking out against Apple before Microsoft. And they were also wanting to do something similar. And they were the ones that actually got it to where Apple started wording stuff in their rules that would actually make it very hard for a platform like that to even exist. And that's where, if you read into it, both Facebook and Valve have actually had to release watered down versions of the app on the Apple Store compared to what you get on Android. I get the version of the app you get on Android compared to Apple. There's a night and day difference. And in the Apple version of the Facebook app, there's actually no games.
Well,
Right.
It's just disappointing. I must say, I'm a fan
a
of
lot of
Apple.
politics, man. A lot of politics. I don't know.
It's sad. It's sad.
Mhm.
You know, like I said, I've always been a big fan of Apple. I have a lot of Apple devices in my house, but this puts a bad taste in my mouth. You know, and you know, it's if they do the right thing and they come around, and I do fully expect I will explore going back to them. But right now, I'm actually getting a Google Pictures or whatever, and I'm going to migrate all my phone stuff to that, all my pictures, and it's just it is what it is. You cannot hold people hostage like that. Whether it's Xbox, if Xbox is doing something like that, I would call them out. You just it's like the thing we talked about with the Xbox Live and then them pushing. You know, you don't do stuff like that, and I don't expect Xbox to do it. But sometimes with these big companies, you never know. You know, they lose. You know, they lose their. You know,
Kind of get out of touch. Yeah. So
you know, but and it's sad because if they'll do it, and then they'll get everyone pissed off, and then of course. You piss people off, you get the people talking, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we've heard your feedback and we're going to allow this. You know, it's like, come on, why don't you just use your common sense once and whatever the case is. I'm very excited though right now. I got the Kishi coming yeah, it's going to be fun, you know. I could use that and you know, really get an idea. That looks like it's really cool too.
It does. It looks really slick. Actually, they designed it really well. But yeah, it's a shame the whole Apple iOS situation for all the different streaming platforms, including XCloud. But I personally think that Xbox, Microsoft are going to be in close contact with Apple over this.
I'm waiting for that day that one of us is going to be at work and someone we never knew that played games walks up to us and be like, dude, have you ever played that one game? And it's like, well, yeah. And you find out all of a sudden this person has been exposed to the Xbox ecosystem and you just want to be like, dude, get an Xbox. I will take you on an adventure you'll never forget.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'll 1v1 you in a sec. Just let me hop on my Xbox. But
oh, I wouldn't do that to him. Jeez, how hard. No wonder people are traumatized to come over here, Invader.
I'm just kidding, for crying out loud.
Dude,
but
Invader's just like lurking for these people. He's just like, oh, you're a mobile gamer. Do you want to come over and play?
well, maybe. No advantages whatsoever. But yeah, guys, it'll be interesting to see how that goes on, especially if Xbox wants to reach over 1 billion different gamers. So they'll definitely need iOS on that train, that bandwagon. But you know what? We'll move on to some other news because we've been going on about this whole phone talk for a while, the whole ecosystem talk. But we'll go on to some other bits of news. And you know what? Hey, Sony recently had their August State of Play stream. We got some new gameplay for games that, well, some of them we've already seen. There were some PSVR games, and there was a few interesting indie game announcements, actually. Shockley, Bud, I'll go to you first on this topic. What did you think of the State of Play stream? Anything stand out?
I did not watch it, but I did see some of the highlights that I was kind of intrigued about. Was probably
some lowlights.
Some lowlights, yeah. Some of the Hitman VR seems like cool. Although Fox News is going to have a field day with that one, I feel. But
oh well, maybe. Well, yeah.
He's the person to say that today, man.
It's true. I mean, they had a field day with Mass Effect and having that like sex scene with the blue alien. So.
So wait, what was the thing? I didn't see
Hitman VR, Hitman 1 through 3 or whatever.
As VR
on PSVR.
Yeah.
So like, dude, could you imagine like literally VRing behind a character?
Yeah, they showed it. He's like has a wire,
throwing the cable around their neck and pulling them back.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, like, yeah, we were kind of making jokes about it on the Weapon Wheel about it's gonna be like Mass Murder Simulator, and then Invader over here is like, yeah, it's not gonna get graphic until they do Manhunter VR.
Oh yeah, that'd be brutal.
Find plastic
VR.
bag.
Last of Us 2 in VR. Oh man. If you want to get even more depressed.
Yeah.
The Last of Us 2 VR set comes with some misters that you got to put in front of you.
No, dude, you get to personally get up close and personal with that golf club on Joel. Oh, that would just really thrill people. Oh man, if you really want to piss off
I think
those
there's
guys.
also that Darth Vader VR.
That made me turn my head.
Ninja Theory was making maybe the first one. I don't know if they're making this though.
Kind of off subject, but I have to say that most and a lot of Sony fans definitely seem like they were more happy with Ghost of Tsushima than they were with the Last of Us 2.
Yeah,
a lot of people talk about
There's
Last of Us 2, and
questionable
very,
character decisions in the Last of Us 2. Like, this doesn't make sense based off what your character did at the beginning of the game. Now you're saying this, it makes no sense.
So when people want to sit there and brag about like the popularity of a franchise, I'm always going to challenge them. Go back and look at Game of Thrones season 1 and what you got on the final episode of the last season. And there you go. You'll see the evolution of a franchise that kind of went a direction that did not appease the fans. So just because something was gold in the beginning does not mean that it will leave a bad taste in your mouth in the end. So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, well the reception for Ghost of Tsushima has been a lot more. Yeah, it's been a lot more well received.
I've actually felt more of a compelling to go get that game over Last of Us 2. And I also wanted to say earlier that if it wasn't for actually having to go on the Weapon Wheel podcast, I was actually just fine reading articles about state of play. But just because I was invited and I knew that was going to come up, I was like, "Oh man, all right, I'm going to go watch it."
Were those guys happy with the show or not really?
They were just like, it was okay, kind of like
extremely underwhelming. I'm trying to remember something that stood out to me. I think there was an indie game that I can't remember the name of it. It was kind of
Fall Guys. That to me was like one of the best things, at least for me, in that show in the beginning.
A lot of that stuff was multiplat too, by the way. A lot of the stuff that they were showing, some of that stuff was multiplat too. But
it was mostly, there was a lot of third party there. I mean, remember guys, Sony did come out like a few days beforehand and temper expectations that, there wouldn't be any.
I'll give them credit. That's the way you should do that. And sometimes I say that Microsoft can be tone deaf, and in a case like that, I think Sony handled that well. They basically said, "Hey, don't come at us if you say the show sucks. We're going to tell you it sucks now." And honesty is always the best policy. So shout out to them, because that's kind of the way you should go about things. If you're not going to show, you should know. Listen, as a company, you should know if you're going to excite fans or not. It's that easy.
Well, tell you guys, you can get really excited because they had Bugsnax gameplay there.
Again,
how did that look?
Tempered expectations or not, you can still say whether a show was good or not. I was watching Red Infamy. She was doing her stream, and she gave it an 8.5 because they show gameplay, right? And I respect everybody's opinion. I mean, it's what you like. You like what you like, and that's it. But still, like, it was so underwhelming to me. Like, it was just, I'd expected more, and it was just, I can't even remember. I mean, I guess it was the Hood, that game Hood, that looked somewhat interesting, but it just kind of reminded me of Assassin's Creed.
How did Godfall look? Because I didn't see the show.
I mean, it looked okay, but still, there was nothing that blew me away. You know what I'm saying? I like Destiny. I don't make myself a huge Sony fan, but I do enjoy some of the thing that Sony has to offer. But it just was really underwhelming to me. I just kind of wanted more, and maybe because I'm just ready to hear. You know what it is too? We're getting all this just piecemeal stuff, like little here, little there. I just want to see everything that Sony's going to offer, and I want them to just finally announce the price. Same thing with Microsoft. I'm just in my mind, I'm just ready for them to just say, just tell us everything already. So just waiting. So when I seen this show, I expected more. Even though they tried to temper your expectations, it's just, for me, I didn't see anything for me that I kind of wanted, except for
I think for both Xbox and Sony, they're playing this game where they're playing this cat and mouse, like, hey, we're not going to say the price, and we're going to see what you guys do, and I think fans are starting to get a little antsy. I mean,
we're like 90 days away from release date.
So now, can I please? I want to hop in on that one. The whole release of price thing. I want them to release the price, but I can see the one reason why both companies are hesitant, and it has nothing to go with competition. It's how do you roll this out without creating a huge problem? Because we all know a majority of people are going to be using the internet. They're not going to be going to the physical stores to buy these things. And, from what I do, I know like some online queues can only hold 60,000 people before the website starts crashing. So I understand that Microsoft and all these companies are major cloud companies. They have infrastructures that are very, very large. But I do worry that there's going to be such a demand for both of these consoles that there's going to be major problems with even getting onto like as soon as they say that stuff is available for pre-order, I'll put $5 down right now on saying that we're going to see Amazon, PlayStation, Best Buy, Microsoft, all these companies' websites are going to probably crash because they are they're not going to be ready for the demand. And then it's going to turn into a huge freaking problem. And the funny part is, like, people might not understand what I'm talking about, but my wife does makeup on the side, and she keeps up with a lot of the big makeup rollouts. And these chicks be crazy. And I have literally seen, like, websites crash over an eyeshadow palette. And we're talking about a Series X.
Right.
Some people were speculating that they're waiting for the next stimulus check to be announced and then doing it. So, so people go out and use the money.
That's not happening now.
That's been a failure. They're on vacation, I guess. Official. I mean, yeah. So Trump is signed 4 executive orders. And,
one of them is payroll taxes. Unfortunately, Jeremy went to smoke a cigar and never came back, I guess.
What was in that cigar, Jeremy?
Oh, Jesus.
He's calling it a cigar to make things look good, but I think it had something to do with a pipe, but we'll just talk about that later. Next time he comes on the show, he's got burned fingertips.
I think he took the executive orders to heart or something and couldn't come on the show. But, I mean, listen, I think, listen, if you look at it, and you're honest about it, like Centurion said, it's going to be a shit show, and because people are at a fever pitch right now for video games, and Corona is one of the reasons that is. And we learn, I think a lot of people learn that gaming is a great entertainment outlet, and I think people that weren't so open to it became open to it because, let's be quite frank, with those 3 months or whatever, that 2-month period, there was nothing to do. Video games was an awesome alternative, and a lot of people went with it. And I think right now just gaming in general is at a fever pitch.
Oh, the world is still not normal. People are still at home, and
there's people still at home, and PlayStation 5 admittedly is more popular. That, forget about it. I mean, that's going to have major problems. People are going to be trying to order multiple, even though you're not supposed to. People are going to try to, they're going to hold it hostage at launch. There's going to be probably few that you can get. You're not going to be able to go into a Best Buy, in my opinion, and get it. Xbox, I think, is going to be the similar situation, maybe not as bad. But, that first day, I mean, the people that are going to get it for sure are probably everyone in this podcast. You know why? Because we will be watching that show, that or event that they're running, whether it's in August or September, and we're going to be ready. Hey, pre-orders are available now, and guess what? We're all going to hit our computers, and we're gonna order it. That's
my
gonna
cell
happen
phone.
fast, but then that the hour after, like Centurion, sorry to cut you off, but that hour after and 2 hours after, and once that starts to become common knowledge, you're gonna be forgetting.
Oh yeah. Well, just to also put it out there, so don't use your phones either if you have access to a decent computer.
Yes.
Because actually my wife used to do that, like doing pre-orders off her phone, and she'd get beat out. And now that she comes and uses my rig that has this 2700 on it, and I can actually load like websites very quickly, she's able to beat out people. So don't be silly and try to use your phone. Like, regrettably, you're going to have to actually make plans for this pre-order to make it to where you have a chance to sit down at a computer of some kind that's going to be able to kind of keep up with that, because there's going to be so many people trying to do what you're doing. And I'm sorry, cell phone websites cannot handle very many people.
Oh, you're making me nervous. I'm going to be in DC, I think, towards the end of the month.
I mean, I think you'll be okay within that first. I would say, listen, I think that first hour is always sketchy, but you know, it's always going to be that we're all going to hold our breath when we hit that enter.
I just hope they do what PlayStation is going to do, and you get one per address. I'm sorry for people that have multiples. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know, kind of like go get a friend or somebody and have one mailed to their place. I don't know if you need multiples, if you live in a household that can afford to. But I already know PlayStation has come out and said that they're wanting to only limit one per address.
Yeah, which is smart, because what happened is that people will buy 15 and they'll have 15, and then they'll sell it on Best Buy right now, and I mean on what's it called? What's the way you can resell your stuff?
They do it on
eBay,
eBay, Facebook Marketplace.
Exactly. You do all that stuff, and you make $300, $200.
Oh, it gets so. My God, it's stupid how I know all this stuff. So, one thing that's example, like my wife would watch people buy something for $25 on these beauty websites as it's sold out, and then sell it on the Facebook Marketplace for $75. So they were like tripling their money. Like, I mean, and it's very easy to do. If you can get your hands and there's a demand, there is someone out there that is willing to pay that price. And that price that they're willing to pay goes up the more harder it gets to get one.
Amen. You're right.
Definitely.
Listen, you seem to know all that stuff. Listen. You remember the eBay where they used to have the bids?
Oh yeah.
In the end, I mean, I tried that. God damn it, I never got one. No matter what, I was always there, and it would always be hit it, and it'd be like, "You
still do that?
I don't know, but I never won a bid. Like, I always was beat.
Oh, you know damn well if it costs $500, somebody's gonna be like, "We'll do the bidding thing," or you can buy it right now for $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what they do.
Yeah. But guys, just to finish up this Sony State of Play topic, though, they did have some good announcements, though. I mean, did you guys see the Control DLC, the Alan Wake one?
I did. 84 years later.
Yeah, 84 years later is right. But yeah, they teased that, had a little mini trailer out.
Can you explain that to me? I watched it 3 times, and is Alan Wake the dude at the end?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I know what Alan Wake is. I played half the game and got like bored. I'm sorry, I got bored playing the original Alan Wake. I gave up. But I enjoyed Control, and there was a lot in Control that explained what went on in Alan Wake, and so I really think this is probably going to be a much more enjoyable experience for me into the character of Alan Wake.
Well, it's been a while since we've had anything Alan Wake related. I mean, again, I'm a huge fan of Alan Wake personally. Like, it's one of the few games that, like, going back to the first Alan Wake game that I got all the achievements for. They've teased Alan Wake and bloody Quantum Break. There's all kinds of bloody teases and Control. So I'm happy to see him come back in some form. Well, like, I really don't know, like, how they're going to work it all in. But honestly, like, I'm excited. I'm excited to see him again. And And you know what? During this stream too, they had some nice little indie announcements. Did you guys see that little stylish beat 'em up called Aeon Must Die? It looked pretty cool. But
I don't remember it.
well, it was the
hard for me
one
to-
where the devs actually came out afterwards, and like they apparently a whole bunch of devs had like quit the studio the past week over like harassment claims and different things. Yeah. There was a whole thing brewing about that they didn't okay the trailer and just all kinds of stuff going on there. It was crazy.
Disaster.
But yeah, no, guys, and there's that Breath of the Wild looking game, The Pathless from Giant Squid. I thought it, like, stylistic wise, I thought it looked pretty cool. But again, like, overall, the stream was just kind of okay. It didn't set, obviously, Sony set the expectations low. And yeah, no, it just didn't really do, a whole lot for anybody. So hopefully they have some announcements later in the month along with Xbox that can really get us excited. And again, give us a price, right? That's what we all want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more worried about price than anything, man. It is all over the place. Heck, I saw an article today that said the PS5 was going to be more than the Series X. And I was like, well, okay, I find that hard to believe, but it's all over the place.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, that was the rumor. Well, I'll just give a little bit of this. There was the guy Darth Golem. He's an insider. That's he's a verified insider. He knows people in the industry. He's also the guy that's pushing that Silent Hill is going to be exclusively coming to PlayStation 5, and it's being done by the studio, Japan Studio, which is one of the studios within PlayStation Studios, and so he's well known, and he's definitely known. He's predicted some stuff. Today he came on Reset Era, and he talked about how people should get used to Xbox being more powerful. The developers are saying that they're seeing that it's more powerful. Obviously, on paper, it's more powerful. And they talk specifically of Resident Evil 8 that is running, having a hard time running on PlayStation 5 at 1080p 60. And it's supposedly running well on Xbox Series X. And he also predicts that it's going to be native 4K 60 or whatever, native 4K, and probably not native on PlayStation 5. Basically, he talks about that. And he also says, and we talked about the cat and mouse game. He said, be prepared that Microsoft is going to try to undercut Sony on price. And I'm with him there because I get that impression that Xbox wants to see where they land. And then I think that Phil and company are going to go to, the CFO. I think her name is...
I know who you're talking about.
Amy
Bent
whatever.
or something, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to go to her, and they're based in Satya, and they're going to say, let's undercut them. And I think that they're going to get the okay. And I think that that's why they're waiting on Sony to price. And I think Sony is well aware that Microsoft is looking to do this. And, give credit to Sony where, they're so competitive. And I wish Xbox could be like that, in my opinion, because I think they're more competitive versus Xbox than Xbox is against them in a lot of ways. But, in this way, I really think that Sony will be like, screw you. We'll tell the fans whenever, because we know the fans want our system the most. So I think that cat and mouse game is going to go on for a while. But yeah, he's predicting that it's going to beat it out in price. So you're going to have a situation possibly where you have a more powerful system that's cheaper in price, And that was such a big thing in the last gen, I remember. And the media wouldn't shut the hell up about it. And the fanboys wouldn't shut the hell up about it.
Every damn
every
day.
damn day. And I could tell you right now, man, these Sony fanboys, they're scared when they hear this today. They, unfortunately, they try to intimidate. They try to intimidate Darth on Reset Era. They stop being nasty. They call him to question him. And the thing is, but a lot of times when this stuff happens, you see Xbox fans, a lot of Xbox fans, unfortunately, they'll fold and they're afraid to say anything. Me, you guys know me. I'm not afraid. And, you're not going to intimidate a guy like me. It's just not going to happen. And if anything, it makes me go even a little bit further where I'm real annoying about it, because it annoys me that they try to do that. And man, the fans were out today and they were going crazy. I'm stop shotting this, Tim. I can't wait till it comes out. Meanwhile, I'm not even the guy that's saying it. I'm just reporting it. You have Red Dragon out there and he's like, oh, well, playing damage control. He's like, well, this developer said this and he clarified his statements. And then I had another statement because on that same Reset Era thing, another dev said, you really shouldn't be downplaying this. A 20% advantage, I think it's really 18, but it's a big deal. But the thing is that people are talking about an 18% advantage from Sony's peak performance, which is variable of 10.3 to 12.1. Fact of the matter is that we don't even know if that's going to be sustainable. I think that you're really Xbox, and I'll say it here, and this is the truth. This is what I heard. They waited to lock in later than Sony. They have full RDNA. They have full RDNA too. They waited specifically. That's why the dev kits were late. People who are talking about RDNA 3 and all this stuff. Listen, you could believe that if you want to believe that. But I think Megatron and others can vouch that Xbox really did their homework with this system, and it's going to show. And when that happens, I just hope that people can keep it civil, because it's not Xbox's fault that they made some really good decisions here, and I think it's going to show. You could show me screenshots of The Last of Us 2 versus a bad screenshot of Craig on Halo Infinite. But the fact of the matter is when you're running the same game and they're on the same level playing field, more times out of not, Xbox is going to outperform it. You have a pretty sizable gap there, and I hope Xbox pushes that. I mean, sometimes they're timid, and I hate to say it, sometimes they don't want they don't want the backlash from just saying that we're the most powerful, even though they do. But they got to hit that home, because that's a big advantage that they're going to have, and Sony's going to have their advantages. They're going to have a lot of, sounds like, timed exclusives and big exclusives. But Xbox has to fight fire with fire, and I really think that it's going to be, if they could get cheaper than PlayStation 5 and being a more advanced tech and better console, more powerful, faster, wow, they really,
that's going to be huge. Yeah,
that'll be a huge thing for Xbox.
But,
I'm thinking they're going to come in at the same. I still think $499 is the price. But whoever said it, Chucky, that we're 90 days away, it's getting close.
Oh, absolutely. And we got to know soon. And it's definitely interesting, these different insiders coming out and mentioning this, hey, Xbox is in this to fight. And there's a reason why they waited, obviously. And, we can't wait to get more details on everything, obviously. Hopefully they release more stuff. Obviously, Lockhart is slowly leaking out there. So
the box art with Xbox Series X with it. What were you going to say, Megatron?
You know what they're going to do to blow everybody away, right? I'm trying to segue into the next topic. They're going to announce announce Scalebound. They're gonna announce Scalebound,
Oh,
and that's it.
Well, yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, speaking of since Megatron brings it up, speaking about Scalebound guys, that's our next topic. It seems like Platinum Games want to revive the IP, the Scalebound brand, that they're interested in doing it. In an interview with a YouTube channel, Game Explain, Platinum Games director Hideki Kimaya and studio head Atsushi Inaba discussed possibly bringing back the game to life. The issue being is that Microsoft actually owns the IP, so they have control over it. They have the final say. And this is what the two guys had to say. Inaba went on to say that we don't think that it's a forbidden topic or anything like that. We're happy to talk about it, though the IP does still rest with Microsoft. We get a lot of fans that still do show interest in the title, and we're always happy to see if there are still people that are really interested in it coming out one day. The fans are thinking, like there was a lot of possibilities or a lot of cool things that looked like Kamea might have been able to accomplish with that title, and we also think, man, it would have been really nice to have that kind of opportunity, but it's not for us to say. And then Kamea added on, if you want to see it again, please send a letter to Phil Spencer. Now, that's really interesting comments here, especially with how Scalebound kind of ended with the statements put out by Microsoft back in early 2017. Megatron, what do you think about this? Would you let Platinum Games take another stab at Scalebound if you're Microsoft?
Honestly, I would be happy either way. If things go the way they're supposed to go. I know there was announced way back, and I want to say 2014. Was it the first time we got a glimpse of Scalebound?
Yeah, it was 14.
It was E3 after E3. It was Scalebound, Crackdown. Halo, and then Gears, and it just kept missing its date. I guess its target date over and over again. I mean, obviously Microsoft thought highly of the game, and it was one of their big games because they had it on the E3 floor. But it's just, from what I can tell and heard from social media, they just kept missing their deadlines. So rumors. I don't have anything too factual to put out there. It was rumor after rumor where it was just things weren't going as planned. But to have another crack at it, I was really looking forward to Scalebound, and I was disappointed. It's a new IP, Japanese game, and you hear everyone complaining about Microsoft doesn't support JRPGs enough. I thought this was an awesome announcement. Whether you were on Xbox or PlayStation, it was great for the industry as a whole. And to see him come out now, I would either they do it, Platinum Games does it, or one of their own studios. I would be happy either way. I just want things to be, if they do announce it, I want it to be further along in development, like close to alpha or beta stages where things are running smoothly. Even just imagine what it would look like on these next gen consoles. And what they're capable of now, it'll probably be phenomenal. I think there was a rumor also, because a bunch of rumors with this whole IP. It was just nonstop that the consoles wasn't strong enough. I heard that. They had hangups with that, and but to see what they can dream up of on these newer gen this new gen console, it would be I would bet phenomenal.
Well, yeah, I remember the gameplay they showed off for it at first, and honestly, it looked like the frame rate was just kind of chugging along there slowly. Like it didn't look like it was running very good at all, honestly. Like Microsoft, the rumor was they kept missing deadlines, Platinum Games, and supposedly they were using money from that project to fund other projects that they were doing at the time, which is really unfortunate.
Even at the beginning of the interview, if you watch the video, first they're talking about Beautiful 101, and the relationship with Nintendo, and I couldn't help but to think about all the other games that were coming out, that they were releasing, and I knew that Scalebound was supposed to be at some point soon, it was supposed to be released. It just made me think that they were focusing on those other games before whatever deal they had garnered with Microsoft. So it was disappointing. It was real disappointing. It was July 9th, 2017. I think officially it was canceled.
June. No, sorry, January.
I'm sorry, January.
It was early. It was really early.
It was a hard pill to swallow, but like I think it's new IP, and it would definitely make waves. Hopefully, positive ones. If you guys saw the tweet I posted, it got some mixed reviews about people got into their emotions and their feelings and how they felt, and based off of rumors, and it's fair, people, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't know per se definitely what happened. I have an idea, but I don't know. But it was disappointing for me. And like I said, when I saw it, I was blown away. There was some frame rate issues, from what we saw on the big screen at E3. I was looking forward to it, man. And if they said something, they announced it 2 years from now, and it's further along in production, and I'd be happy with it. I honestly, truly would.
Because, like, the thing is, I was really looking forward to it, too. I even have some Scalebound swag still kicking around, so it's probably worth something now. But honestly, guys, it's one of those things where I don't know if I trust Platinum Games, because as much as I like a few of their games, like, I'm a big fan of Vanquish, and I like a few of their other games. Like, they know how to make a good action game. The issue is, you could tell that something just wasn't right here in their relationship with Microsoft, and I don't know. It's one of those things where if I'm Phil Spencer, and Platinum comes to me, it's like, do they, in order for them, do I let them work on it, or do I get another studio to work on this? Because can I really trust Platinum Games, or do I let them kiss my ass, right? Because it just sounds like that they didn't do very well with Microsoft.
I think it's all about oversight. Didn't they create something where a team overseas and I don't know if it was Japan or Korea, South Korea, where they, I guess, wanted to have more, more of a relationship with these developers, but I guess they have to at the same time have oversight over these projects, because you just don't know. I mean, it's hard.
I think what happened with Scalebound is they didn't have the correct oversight. That's on Xbox, but I do think that Platinum basically was playing games and taking people off the project and doing, driving up north and doing another project for, another company, whether Neo Automata or whatever. I think there is definitely. There's definitely memories there, or there's I wouldn't say bad blood. Maybe it is bad blood, but I don't see Scalebound happening. Unfortunately, the sad thing about Scalebound is that the only time people started talking about it, other than the really hardcore, which would include, what's his name? I forgot his name. Rayon.
Ryan McCaffrey.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh, you're talking about Wolf. You're talking about
Wolf, Iron Wolf.
I speak to that. I speak to him all the time.
He was always passionate. I'll give him that, and he still is passionate about it. But for the most part, there weren't many people that were passionate about it when it was going on. And there wasn't a real big buzz around it until the game got canceled. Then all these people came out, and people want things that they don't want. I think there's definitely the idea of it was super awesome, and I think that they could have had something there, but it didn't work out. And I think they all share, and I think they all agree that I think Xbox shares fault, and that they didn't oversight the studio. It was in Japan, and they didn't know what was going on until they heard, they saw that they weren't meeting their they weren't meeting these deadlines, and they were way, way off. And then there were rumors that there were people calling in sick from stress, And then
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, there was all types of stuff, but then they were fine and dandy with their other releases. And I think that even Phil probably gets annoyed when he's asked about this, because that whole situation didn't go well. And it's unfortunate because they lost a ton of money, and it's a black eye on Xbox still to this day. It's just not as bad as it once was, because they kind of rectified the situation. But the truth of the matter is they do own the IP, and maybe in time they could come up with something, and I would have like Hellblade do it, or I would have like that studio. I would have another
Ninja Theory?
studio. Yeah, I would have another studio do it. I wouldn't have Kiyomi unless they could come to some type of agreement. He was a complete headache. He was blocking Phil. He was blocking Xbox fans. He was blocking everyone playing games, saying that they were putting him up as a prop. He was a complete headache during the whole situation. If you look back, he was fighting with fans, and
That just sounds childish. The block.
He was childish.
Working with, to me,
Yeah.
I think he was. I don't know if he was joking around or whatever, but there was a lot of stupid stuff that went on, and then he also freaked out saying that he's not a prop, and he put these offensive tweets about Xbox, and then he deleted them. So he's kind of like a guy that is very talented, but he's hard to work with. So the chances of this reviving, I would say, are very minimal. Like Iron Wolf, I'll give him a shout out. He was instrumental in pushing Yakuza. He used to tell me all the time. He used to put me and Phil and the guy from Sega in DMs, and he would always push for it, and he has a big passion for it, and I respect him for that. And I know he hit me up recently about this, and he's like, let's get the ball rolling.
I know he did.
I just don't think that this is going to happen. So this is something that unfortunately there's a little there's bad blood here, or I don't know if that's the word to say, if it's that bad. I think that they all learned lessons from this, but to say that the situation is ripe for them to relook at it, I don't even think they're close or would even entertain it at this moment.
I got the sense that we know that there's been travels back and forth, people from Xbox going back and forth to Japan, and plus from other speaks, I feel like they have somewhat of a friendship and things have gotten better. It's been 3 years. I do think they have awesome talent over there, and I would like to think that over time, and hopefully given where they are in development, where they stopped at and to where they can be another 2 years, if he has something that he can present to Microsoft to say, hey, look, this is where we are, and we are still working on the game. Hopefully now, at their own. You can do a lot in 3 years. It's been forever now. And given what the consoles can do, the capabilities of what they can do now, hopefully they can just say, hey, let's just get this done. And it's just me wishful thinking, kumbaya. It's just it's hard. It's hard to find talent out there and new IPs. You hear again these studios are acquiring here, and you're picking up from Santa Monica. You're grabbing developers from all over, because I think that it is limited to what's out there. So I think if they can get it done, hey, get it done. But I like yet again, I don't know all that happened behind the scenes. So if there's something that was that bad, then I could understand why they probably want to walk away with it and let their own studios, make the game maybe. But it just makes me wonder, how hard that would be, picking up from somebody's own, their project into someone else taking over it, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a shame what happened with that project.
Is
And
anyone else other than Platinum allowed to work on it?
Microsoft owns the IP.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
But
they
is
could
there like a
outsource it.
contracted obligation that Platinum has to be the one to finish it?
Probably not. Microsoft, like even they're saying Microsoft owns the IP. Like they can, I'm pretty sure they can do whatever they want with it.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like, I don't know. Just interesting. Like, again, I was like, when Phil made a comment a couple of months ago about Scalebound just being dead, it just sounds like they want to just forget about it. Me, like, I'm just willing to put it aside as much as I was really hyped for it. Would I like to see it come back? Maybe, like, in the future, like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I just want to move on from this, and maybe they can find the right developer. Maybe it's just not the right time for it right now, but I mean, I do think that there are a lot of talented devs out there that could do this IP justice. And yeah, maybe on the Series X it could be reborn. Maybe next gen it could be reborn. You never know, right? But for now, I think it's a really interesting IP. I would like to see it, but at the same time, we have other games to look forward to, so we just gotta kind of move on from it. But guys, I will just move on to our final topic tonight. And you know what? Speaking of games possibly coming back, it looks like a certain studio really wants to make a sequel to an Xbox IP. Now, in a recent interview with Segment Next, Armature Studio stated that there's been no specific discussion with Microsoft, but they would love to return to making a possible sequel for the game ReCore. Now, they stated that we have a very good relationship with Microsoft, but we have not talked specifically about creating a new ReCore game. We really enjoyed the IP we helped create, so whether ReCore returns through us or someone else, it would be really great to see a new version of the game. So, guys, I think that's really cool that Armature wants to bring back the IP, but Centurion, buddy, I'll get your input on this. What do you think is the likelihood that we'll see a sequel to ReCore?
Oh, shucks. If you want me to be absolutely truthfully honest, I don't really think there's like a huge likelihood. Purely because of how the game was received. It was a beautiful looking game. I mean, finding the diamond looking things, watching them, that was back when HDR was really starting to become a thing, and everybody wanted to see some really cool stuff, and that game looked really pretty in my opinion. It played great. I went through it very quickly, and I was kind of wondering why everybody complained about how you couldn't finish the game. And that's when I did get to the end of the game and find out that if you didn't literally meticulously went and find every single one of those gem things and literally go on a scavenger hunt throughout the entire game, you're not able to finish the game. And so that kind of disappointed me a little bit. But that's where if they were to do another ReCore game, they would have to make an element of the game to where you didn't have to go on this great big marathon. I'm not saying you don't have to do it at all, but
there's a lot of backtracking with ReCore. That was a lot of what some complaints were, and then the loading times. That game to me has some of the best damn platforming I have ever experienced. I mean, I think to me, it's just a step above Ori. I mean, the scale and the scope was like, there were levels and when you go into those dungeons where you just like, there is no way in hell I'm going to get through this.
I enjoyed playing it.
Yeah, but the combination between the core bots and everything else, I have yet to go back to the expansion, but let me tell you, I have such a love for this game. I know Delilah HD does too as well, but the game to me is phenomenal. I mean, what engine did it use? So you guys remember it was
they used the not Unreal Engine,
it was free or something. Infinity Engine, what was it called?
No, oh god,
it wasn't Unreal, was it?
No, it wasn't Unreal.
It's not Unreal. It's the
Unity.
Yes.
One of the things. Go ahead. One of the things I heard with ReCore and I think that Microsoft can look back and they could probably can probably blame themselves a little here. Is that ReCore was supposedly pitched to be a much smaller game. It wasn't supposed to be as big, but I think that Xbox pushed on them to be bigger and kind of hurt the development process. And I think even Xbox might even say that they might have learned something from that. Because I had asked somebody about Grounded, and I said, well, why don't you make this game huge? Like, make it into a AAA or try to, expand it. And the answer basically that was pitched back to me was, we're not going to repeat mistakes that we've done with that. And they mentioned ReCore. And, basically, if a project is good and it might not be the biggest project, sometimes if you go in there and you try to make it bigger, it could cause problems. And I think if you look at ReCore, that explanation to me makes a lot of sense for that game.
Yeah.
It should have been a smaller game, less grinding, less. It seemed like they bloated it up to try to kind of get to a AAA or even a big AA game, and it was never meant to be that. I think that the IP is absolutely lovable, and I think that if they could go back and they could maybe renegotiate and kind of do what they originally had planned and have a ReCore 2, go for it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be a AAA now. Back then, maybe it had to be a AAA because they were lacking games, lacking studios. And this was one of the deals that they had that they kind of said, hey, maybe if we can make this game bigger than it is, it'll extend our year. And this is not going to be the case now. It could be a small, fun game for Game Pass. And for me, I would definitely think that it'd be a smart global studio game for them. You know what I mean? It would make a lot of sense. And I think a lot of fans would be happy with the ReCore 2.
Yeah,
and like I said, it wouldn't have to be that big. It doesn't have to be bigger than the first. It could be even smaller. It's just in that same sense.
Yeah, and for me, Tim, honestly, I really enjoyed ReCore, despite all its faults, because I remember when it came out day one, it had all kinds of bugs associated with it. I would get I'd go through the floor of the world. There was all kinds of these little bugs that were kind of crazy. I had them all recorded and put on my channel. But not only that, but then there was a section of the game, the game wasn't finished either. They were missing a section of the game. Actually, and it was even missing one of those robots too that they had. It was on the cover of the game, but they didn't release it until a year later with a certain area. So that was kind of a bummer, to be honest with you. But despite some lack of content and obviously a clear lack of polish at the same time, the game had a lot of character to it. I couldn't help but really enjoy the world that they had created, the storyline. It was the story was done by Joe Staten, I believe, which obviously he has his hands in Halo and Crackdown, the most recent one, and I thought he put together a really wonderful world there. The characters were really good. And I just thought the overall design was, like Megatron mentioned, the platforming, and it was kind of meant to be this Zelda with the dungeon crawling as well. And I thought they did a decent job with that, although they could have mixed up the gameplay a little bit, maybe because you only had the one gun, if I remember, so, and it was kind of color coded the way that you had to shoot the enemies and all that. So I think
how you grappled, you had that grappling hook that you kind of pulled out, what is that, whatever you pulled out from whatever you were fighting, I guess. That hook that I loved it, man. I really hope they make another ReCore, man. I bought the game twice. I got the collector's edition and I bought it digitally, and oh my gosh, I can't express enough how much great this game was. Even just trying to find the core bots, those little helicopter little
Yeah.
little drones that went into the door, and if you found all of them, you opened the dungeon, and that's how you got the I guess the jewels or whatever to get you into that main pyramid. But you had to have so many.
Mhm.
That was I think it was like 90 or 75 a minimum. I think I found almost all of them. I just didn't do the DLC, and I think I loved every aspect of the game besides the glitches. The loading I didn't have a problem with. It is what it was. It was a difficult game for some people, but we grew up in an era where NES, Atari, my first console was the Odyssey. It was just something that I was used to, and it felt at home. When I played that game, I felt at home. It felt like a 2000 whatever, between Metroid and Zelda, a modern version of that, but just to me better. And I just really, really hope they make this, man. I would smile for the rest of the year. ReCore is one of my favorite IPs this gen, by the way, next to Sea of Thieves. I know it's not popular to everyone else, but they need to make this. I hope they make it. Use the Slipstream engine, use Unreal Engine 4 or 5, and you already have a game that's probably phenomenal. So.
Oh yeah, it even had like the creator of Mega Man's touches. That studio was behind the designs as well. So it had a lot of nice touches to it, and again, I really liked it aesthetically, and I just thought the story was pretty good. It just it needed that polish, and if they did a sequel and they had a proper budget for it and the proper amount of time, because this game was made pretty quickly too. They were rushed to make this, so. If they were given the right amount of time and budget, I think a lot could be done with this IP. So, I don't know. I would personally like to see a sequel to it. I don't know about anybody in the chat, but please let us know if you would like to see a ReCore 2 down the line. I know I would. But all right, guys. I think on that note, we are gonna end off the show. And you know what? Hey, I gotta say, I had a really good time tonight talking about. The Sony State of Play, the whole Samsung and Xbox Game Pass app going on, those announcements, and the whole Apple versus XCloud gaming and so much more. Like, there's a lot to talk about, actually. And I love talking games, and all of us on the show panel really appreciate all of you that tune in every Sunday night to listen to our weekly banter. Everybody in the chat, Winter Shoulder, thank you very much for joining us. Crazy Greek Dude, Big Lude Ravens, UK Dazarus, Dreadpool, ATL, Hassan, Fastback from NLG, Alex, Justin, Crispy Bomb, and so much more. Mr. Kima, again, thank you again, and everybody that joined in to listen to us. We really appreciate it, and definitely continue to support the show by giving a like, sharing this out, and of course subscribing if you haven't already done so. Again, great show tonight, everyone. Now let's get to some of these outros. Tim, buddy, I will start with you. Excellent presence tonight. Where can everybody find the Xbox Lizard?
You can find me on Twitter, xCloud Tin Dog. You can also find me on RDX every Tuesday night, as well as here Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was a great show tonight, and I shall see you guys next week.
Definitely, buddy. Definitely. All right. Next up, Megatron. Again, you had some really good comments during the show, pal. Where can the TXR faithful follow you at?
And as usual, you can hit me up on Twitter, man. Like I always say, we can talk about anything and everything, including gaming. You can hit me up, Megatron_1975, and Twitch. I'm going to do some streaming tonight for a little bit. Which is Megatron 1975S. Yeah, I like to stream from every now and again. So hit me up, follow, and that'd be great. So thank you guys for coming through. It was a fun show.
Definitely, pal. Centurion, buddy. We got the 2 shows in a row tonight. I bet you're tired out as much as I am. Where can everybody follow you, pal?
I know it has been the over 4-hour marathon. We have been podcasting for more than 4 hours now. It's been fun. Anyway, I still have enough excitement. I'm going to play some Xbox after this. All right. So for those interested, if you want to always follow me, you can check me out right here on TXR Podcast every Sunday. I also do the Shop Podcast every Saturday night as well. You can also find me on YouTube, Twitter, and Xbox Live at Centurion1307. And be sure to check out my new video if you can, about the whole thing going on with Apple. If you get any confusion at all, this really is regretful that it even happened, and hopefully some things change and we can get XCloud on iOS.
Yeah, you got that right, buddy. Hopefully we get some more news on that soon. Hopefully they patch things out with that. All right, moving on. Eric Shockley, good commentary tonight, bud. Where can everybody follow you at?
Yeah, good show. You can find me at Shock Nero on Twitter, Easy Shock on Xbox Live, and thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, good stuff. And as always, I'm Invader. You guys can follow me on my YouTube channel, Invader Gaming, and I'm on Twitter at Invader_1986. Great show, everyone, and we hope to see you next week. Take it easy, guys.
Later.